The magical world of Morrigan now lives in a state where a corrupt kingdom controls every destiny. So, an entire class of students is pulled from Japan to serve a king who treats people like disposable tools. The government calls this a heroic summoning. The rest of us call it a shady pyramid scheme with more magic. RMC, Akira Oda, is a plain guy with a talent for staying invisible in a crowd, and he just wants to find a way back home with his friends. This goal is simple. He wants to survive the lies of the Redis Kingdom and protect a beautiful elf princess who is basically Galadriel from Lord of the Rings, if Galadriel was a fugitive with a crush on a hitman. It all begins when Akira Oda and his entire class get pulled into a fantasy world through a magic circle. This classroom is full of generic NPCs from a budget isekai. A king greets them and claims they are heroes summoned to save the kingdom from a demon lord. Every student receives a status plate that shows their stats and job class. Most of the kids get high combat stats, especially the council president Tsukasa, who becomes the hero. This guy has the personality of a bland bowl of oatmeal. Akira checks his own plate and realizes his stats are insanely high, far beyond the legendary hero. He has the assassin class, which makes him a deadly version of Ezio from Assassin's Creed. Akira uses a concealment skill to hide his true power from the untrustworthy king. This edgy teenager realizes the royal court is filled with villains who belong in a Game of Thrones betrayal. Knight Commander Saran and his subordinate Gills start training the group for a dungeon raid. Saran sees through the trickery and offers to train Akira in secret. The commanders are shocked because Akira possesses a max-level skill that only the first hero ever held. This boy is basically the John Wick of the fantasy world. Akira finds out that Saran actually wants to overthrow the corrupt king. Meanwhile, a mysterious woman watches the class from the shadows during their preparation. This lady tells Akira to find her later to learn about the dark sacrifices the king made for the summoning. The students enter the dungeon to begin their first real test. Tsukasa tries to use a magic tool to scare away monsters, but the item fails miserably. Just then, a massive minotaur appears and breaks the arms of the useless hero. This pathetic main character is about as helpful as Magikarp in a high-level raid. Akira is forced to step out of the shadows and take over the fight to save everyone. Akira defeats the beast with ease, which makes Tsukasa feel incredibly jealous and angry. The group realizes a dark curse is slowly affecting the mind of the hero. This budget King Arthur is turning into a liability for the whole team. Saran hands him a black katana called Yato no Kami, which the first hero once used. This weapon makes Akira look like a high-definition version of Kirito from Sword Art Online. The boy later sneaks into the bedroom of the princess and smashes a crystal she used to mind control the hero. This royal girl is a total yandere, with more red flags than a communist parade. She unfortunately reveals she has plenty of other crystals to enslave the rest of the class. Tragedy strikes the next morning when Saran is found dead in the castle. The cursed classmates immediately blame Akira for the murder of their commander. The king orders a public execution for the boy, but Akira vanishes into the shadows. He finds Gills and learns the king's secret assassins actually killed Saran. This pathetic monarch is a fantasy world version of Emperor Palpatine. Akira flees into the wilderness while the king sends the night ravens to hunt him down. The royals plan to use the brainwashed students to start a massive war against the eastern kingdoms. Akira enters the dangerous Cantonin dungeon to grind for levels and improve his killing skills. This lone assassin is busy conquering a deadly dungeon while you are still struggling to conquer your laundry pile. Gillies uses a secret mind skill to free 6 students from the dark curse of the princess. These students and Tsukasa leave the castle by pretending they are going on a quest to kill the demon lord. A boy named Kyosuke feels deep guilt for leaving Akira behind in the chaos. He is also confused about a mysterious white katana that suddenly appeared in his possession. Akira eventually reaches floor 75 and finds a beautiful elf princess named Amelia Rosaquartz. She is being attacked by a dark slime that looks like a gross villain from a hentai parody. Akira rescues the elf and helps her regain her strength. This new duo reaches floor 80 and defeats a massive dragon in a fierce battle. The defeated dragon transforms into a small black cat after losing the fight. This creature carries a mysterious message from the demon lord, inviting them to the land of demons to face the king. Akira decides to adopt the cat as his familiar and gives him the name Night because of his dark fur. This cat is basically a magical version of Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Elsewhere, the hero Tsukasa leads his group into the Yamato Kingdom. This place looks exactly like feudal Japan because the first hero founded it long ago. Tsukasa believes they must kill the demon lord to convince the king to send them back to Earth. He is a naive fool who thinks life works like a Disney movie. Kiyosuke reminds the group that they cannot win a real war without the power of Akira. Tsukasa worries that Akira is too far ahead of them and suggests they train in Yamato first. These students start working as adventurers to earn a living while they grind for experience points. Emilia finally tells Akira the truth about her past during their journey. Her younger sister Kilika drove her out of their village in a fit of rage. The dark slime swallowed her during her escape until Akira saved her from a sticky end. Akira suggests she should try to make peace with her sister if they ever cross paths again. He admits that he misses his own sister, Yui, back in the human world. This overpowered assassin actually has a heart and cares about his family, unlike Yu who only calls home when the Wi-Fi stops working. The duo decides to exit the dungeon using a magical teleportation circle. Emilia's intense emotions accidentally warp the magic and change their destination. They appear suddenly in the middle of a dense forest on the Elven continent. A group of hostile archers immediately surrounds them with their bows drawn. Kilika leads the soldiers and looks at her sister with pure hatred. She calls Emilia a child of blight and prepares for a violent confrontation. This family reunion is more awkward than a Thanksgiving dinner with an ex. Akira stands ready to protect the elf princess from her own blood. Akira easily knocks out several elven soldiers, including Liam, who used to be the fiancé of Emilia. Kilika attempts to use a mesmerize spell to hypnotize Akira and turn him into a mindless drone from a sci-fi cult movie. The assassin remains completely unaffected and accuses Kilika of using magic to manipulate the entire village against her sister. The king arrives and tries to welcome Emilia home, but the princess insists on staying by the side of Akira. This royal father figure challenges Akira to a duel against Kilika to settle the matter once and for all. Akira wins the fight with zero effort, making the elven guards look like useless level 1 grunts in a tutorial. Kilika breaks down and claims that the perfection of Emilia ruined her entire life. She reveals that everyone overlooked her because Emilia was a gifted spirit medium. Emilia uses her powers to remove the hypnotic spell from all the elves in the forest. The king admits his own mistakes and reveals he had sealed away the painful memories of Kilika. These memories return and show that an evil mage once tricked Kilika into summoning monsters that killed Liam. Emilia used her forbidden spirit powers to bring Liam back to life at a terrible cost. Kilika felt so much guilt that the king decided to erase the trauma from her mind. This memory wipe was basically a magical version of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. The missing memories caused a gap between Kilika and her people, which she wrongly blamed on her sister. Liam admits he helped exile Emilia because he hoped the distance would heal the broken heart of Kilika. This elf guy has the logic of a toxic simp trying to fix a relationship with duct tape. Kilika finally reconciles with her sister and reconnects with the village after years of hatred. The king gives his blessing for Emilia to continue her journey with Akira. The duo decides to travel to the continent of the beast folk to continue their quest. By a strange coincidence, Tsukasa and his party also decide to head toward the beast folk lands. Knight admits that the demon lord is fully aware of the shadow magic Akira possesses. A group of bandits working for a royal named Lord Graham attacks the duo during their journey. Akira captures the criminals with ease and learns that Graham is a corrupt noble behind many kidnappings. The group boards a ship heading to the port city of Humans in this city live as second-class citizens because the beast folk hold all the power. These people also have a massive cultural phobia of black cats. Emilia attempts to seduce the assassin in their cabin, but the boy pretends to be asleep to avoid the awkwardness. Knight invites an old friend named Crow to meet Akira the following morning. This man is a legendary blacksmith and a former member of the hero's party. He offers to repair the broken katana, Yato no Kami, if Akira can find the rare materials. Crow notes that the boy is a useless amateur when it comes to actual swordsmanship. Akira decides to raid the dungeon of to find the necessary supplies. Emilia stays behind and asks Crow to teach her how to fight, so she can finally be useful. Crow reveals that the beast folk hate black cats because Knight destroyed their ancient city, Adlia, a century ago. This cute cat was once a terrifying monster straight out of Godzilla. Crow blames Lord Graham for the tragedy because the noble murdered many beast folk, including Crow's sister, just to escape the city. The evil mage who previously tricked Kilika suddenly attacks with a wave of monsters. He introduces himself as Tress and claims he is a servant of the demon lord. This budget Voldemort has orders to wipe out every living soul, except for Amelia. Akira uses his shadow magic to destroy the massive army of monsters in a desperate struggle. The mental strain of the magic causes the boy to pass out on the battlefield. The city of remains in danger while its only protector lies unconscious. Knight feels confused because the shadow magic of Akira activates automatically to protect the boy from death. The blacksmith crow presents Akira with the repaired Yato no Kami, which he has cleverly reforged into 2 short swords. These dual blades make the assassin look like a deadly version of Deadpool. Crow also hands him a special ring created by a previous hero that can guide the wearer toward whatever they seek. This magical jewelry proves that Amelia is currently trapped inside the labyrinth. The evil mage Aurum waits for his master to collect them since he lacks the ability to teleport. The mysterious woman from the Redis Kingdom finally reveals her true identity as Leah Lagoon, the princess of Uruk. Leah explains that the demon lord wants the resurrection magic of Amelia for a secret purpose. Aurum finds this strange since demons already have nearly infinite lifespans and live like immortal vampires from Twilight. Leah shares her tragic past of being adopted after a dark slime destroyed her entire village. She used her royal powers to discover that these slimes are actually tools used by the king of Redis. The corrupt royals use these monsters to kidnap people as sacrifices for the hero summoning spell. This kingdom is a nightmare factory worse than the basement in Barbarian. Knight helps Akira and Leah navigate through the dangerous dungeon to find the missing elf. The Black Cat reveals that the original demon lord only fought wars because he was banished to the volcano continent. Demons have lived in peace for over a century, suggesting the current ruler might not be a villain at all. The group finally reaches Amelia and prepares for a heavy confrontation. Akira uses his shadow magic to wound Aurum while Leah protects them with barrier magic. This girl is actually contributing to the team while you are still a side character in your own life. The battle against the monsters ends in victory until a new threat appears from the darkness. Aurum's master, a terrifying figure named Mahiro, arrives suddenly on the battlefield. Akira stands frozen and wonders how they will survive this level 99 world boss. Knight warns Akira to stay extremely alert during the confrontation with Mahiro. The new enemy places Aurum behind cover and destroys the barrier magic of Leah without any effort. Akira prepares to defend against the next strike, but the attack suddenly shifts and knocks Amelia unconscious. This move triggers a brief rage in Akira before he cools his head to focus on the survival of the elf. Mahiro creates a massive wall of energy to prevent the group from escaping the area. The conversation reveals that Mahiro was actually a human from Japan before he joined the side of the demon lord. This traitor is basically a magical version of Benedict Arnold. Akira struggles to stay standing while trading blows with the overpowered demon. Knight suggests breaking their master-servant bond so the cat can use his full strength to win. The boy refuses and insists they fight together as a team. Knight transforms into the likeness of the dead Commander Saran and launches a barrage of attacks. These strikes only leave minor scratches on Mahiro, who responds with a cruel trick. The villain takes control of the body of Amelia and forces her to pierce through the chest of Akira with her bare hands. The shadow system inside the body of Akira activates to heal his wounds and briefly takes control of his movements. This automated power manages to overwhelm Mahiro for a moment. The villain gets angry and prepares a final blast to kill both Amelia and Akira. The blacksmith crow arrives at the last second to cancel the magic and force Mahiro to retreat with Aurum. Akira wakes up several days later and finds Gilles and his former classmates waiting for him. Gilles explains that the king fired him to remove any potential threats to the throne. Amelia listens to the group talk about returning to Japan and leaves the room in sadness. Akira catches up to her and confesses his true feelings to cheer her up. The two share their first kiss and carve matching marks on their fingers to symbolize their love. This wholesome moment belongs in a shoujo manga from the 90s. The classmates of Akira bring him to Mali City to witness a famous annual beauty pageant. This festive event hides a dark secret because many past winners have vanished without a trace. Akira meets a demon girl named Latisanale, or Lati, who decides to enter the contest with help from Amelia. Crow gives Akira a new adventurer badge and reveals the boy has reached the yellow rank. Amelia holds the higher silver rank, and Kilika is one of the only 3 gold ranks on the entire planet. The blacksmith admits he is getting too old to handle the corrupt Lord Graham alone. Graham employs a private army of powerful mercenaries to protect his illegal business. Crow asks Akira for a massive favor to help eliminate this threat. This old man is basically recruiting you for a suicide mission like you are a member of the Suicide Squad. Amelia and Laddie finish the pageant in a tie for first place. Knight expresses concern that the reckless behavior of Laddie will anger her father. The Black Cat reveals that this young girl is actually the daughter of the Demon Lord. This princess is a spoiled royal brat while you are just a spoiled brat with no kingdom. Akira is exhausted after staying awake for several days, so Amelia uses a magic spell to force him into a deep sleep. She then confronts Crow about his plan to make Akira become a murderer. Crow argues that the refusal of the boy to kill is foolish and dangerous. He believes that if Akira ever takes a life, it will be solely to keep Amelia safe. The kidnappers sent by Graham attack the winners just as the blacksmith predicted. Amelia easily defeats the thugs and forces them to confess the truth about the missing girls. These criminals harvest the organs of the winners to sell for profit. Amelia prepares to kill the men in a fit of rage, but Laddie stops her from committing the act. This demon princess believes that murder is an unforgivable crime, regardless of the reason. Akira watches everything through the eyes of the elf while trapped in his magical sleep. He feels relieved that Amelia did not stain her hands with blood. The boy wonders if she would still love him if he ever had to kill to protect her. Akira meets with Gillis and discovers that the blacksmith Crow was actually a father figure to the commander. Gillis takes the rest of the classmates toward the demon border for safety. Akira heads specifically to Uruk City to hunt down the villainous Lord Graham. Amelia begs Crow to train her in advanced combat. This girl hopes that if she becomes strong enough to protect herself, Akira will never have to stain his hands with blood. Crow admits during their training sessions that Amelia is a rare genius. He believes she might even master the legendary hero spell called Inversion. This magic allows a user to cancel an enemy spell and reflect the damage back at them like a mirror force card from Yu-Gi-Oh! Crow reveals a dark secret about his long life. His mother performed experiments on him that allowed him to live for nearly 400 years. This beastman has lived twice as long as his own kind, and feels ready to embrace death once his sister is avenged. Laddie returns to the group and assists Knight in spying on the mansion of Lord Graham. The Princess Leah introduces Amelia to King Igsim in the city of Uruk. Leah feels shocked that Crow is finally passing his ultimate technique to a worthy heir. King Igzam tries to hire Akira to assassinate Lord Graham on behalf of the crown. Akira refuses the job because he refuses to be a pawn for another royal. This king has the ego of a middle manager at a Twitter office and cannot handle a no. The head of the Royal Knights challenges Akira to a duel for disrespecting the king. Akira wins the fight effortlessly and makes the knight look like a useless level 1 mob in a tutorial. Igsim gets spiteful and insults the relationship between the two protagonists. He points out that Amelia is an elf who will live for centuries after Akira dies of old age. This comment leaves Amelia feeling deeply upset and insecure about their future. This king is a professional hater who makes your toxic relatives look like saints. Crow finally reveals a massive piece of the puzzle to Akira. He explains that Lord Graham was the person who actually arranged the assassination of Seren for the king of Ratis. The target is now clear. Crow creates a difficult situation by demanding that Akira kill Lord Graham personally. The old blacksmith threatens to abandon the group and refuse to guide them through the dangerous demon realm unless Akira agrees. This pressure forces the boy to seriously consider taking a human life for the first time. Crow explains that the secret power of Graham comes from illegal drugs that turn his soldiers into superpowered monsters. This trade with demons has made the noble incredibly wealthy and allowed him to expand his private army. Princess Leah tries to apologize for the rude behavior of her father during the earlier meeting. Everyone decides to go shopping in the city to clear their heads. Amelia insists on spending private time with Akira and points out that Leah is clearly in love with Crow. Knight and Laddie discover that Graham has changed his smuggling tactics by hiring unsuspecting adventurers to transport his goods. This plan makes moving illegal items much easier for his criminal empire. Crow takes Leah to a beautiful field filled with red spider lilies. These flowers represent the afterlife, and he wants to share their beauty with her before his final mission. Leah asks him about the possibility of marriage, but the blacksmith refuses. He believes his life is dedicated solely to revenge and that he deserves no happiness. This man is a fantasy version of the Punisher with a much cooler beard. The hero Tsukasa admits to Kyosuke that he feels like a total failure. He hates being a legendary hero when he is barely stronger than a normal person. Akira seems to have all the power and control that Tsukasa lacks. This insecure protagonist is a bigger disappointment than the live-action Dragon Ball movie. Akira worries that becoming a murderer will make Amelia stop loving him. Amelia actually fears that killing Graham will cause Akira to hate himself forever. Akira remembers how his father abandoned the family, leaving him to care for his sick mother and his sister Yui. He is terrified that he won't be able to face his family back in Japan if he returns as a killer. The moral struggle of this teen is more intense than your struggle to choose a lunch spot. Meanwhile, Yui and her mother wait in the real world and worry about the students who have been missing for a month. Knight and Laddie arrive in the city of Uruk to begin their investigation. Akira sends them to the Adventurers Guild to dig up dirt on the corrupt Lord Graham. Knight successfully discovers a secret room containing documents about illegal drugs and a dark slave trade involving demons. This ninja cat is a better detective than Sherlock Holmes with a ball of yarn. Akira feels uneasy because the evidence was way too easy to find. Crow suggests that Graham might have planted the papers on purpose to lure them into a trap. Graham eventually executes one of his own men as a fake traitor to maintain his public image. This noble is a vile snake with the morals of a Grand Theft Auto villain. Crow reveals a terrifying secret about the King of Ratis and his true goals. The monarch wants to start a massive war to gather enough human souls for a forbidden spell called Equivalent Exchange. This dark ritual would allow him to resurrect his dead wife at the cost of thousands of lives. This king is a total psycho who watched Full Metal Alchemist and took the wrong lessons from it. Amelia and Laddie go out for lunch, while Akira and Knight visit a local bookshop. Akira is so lost in his own thoughts that a common thief manages to steal his bag in broad daylight. This overpowered loser is basically the reverse version of Batman right now. Knight retrieves the stolen bag and listens as Akira expresses his deep fear of taking a life. The boy admits he cannot bear the thought of murder even if it prevents a global war. Knight explains that killing is a heavy burden that eventually causes the soul to wear out completely. Akira decides he must meet Graham face to face before deciding if the man deserves to die. He and Amelia head to the Adventurers Guild to wait for the arrival of the villain. They meet a fan named Raoul and a disabled secretary named Karia while they wait. Graham finally appears with 4 elite guards to confront the group. Graham shows his true colors by ordering the kidnapping of Amelia and the death of Akira. Laddie saves the duo from the drug-enhanced guards by revealing she can fly like a magical girl from Sailor Moon. This demon princess leaves the city immediately because she refuses to watch the bloody violence about to unfold. Graham plans to sell Amelia to the demons in exchange for rare materials to upgrade his monster army. Akira finally decides to kill the noble to ensure the safety of his girlfriend. This boy discovers a hidden crystal in his bag during his final preparations. The crystal contains a recorded message from the dead Commander Saran. This ghost mentor reminds Akira that his goal is to return home to Japan rather than seeking empty revenge. Akira leaves for the mission after promising Crow that he will finish the job. The assassin asks Amelia for her forgiveness before he vanishes into the shadows. He infiltrates the heavily guarded mansion and executes Graham with cold efficiency. This edgy protagonist finally becomes a true hitman like Agent 47. Akira returns to Amelia afterward and confesses his darkest fear about the murder. He feels terrified because he felt absolutely nothing while ending a human life. This boy also blames himself for the death of Saran. He believes that accepting his role as an assassin earlier could have saved his teacher. Amelia forgives Akira completely and promises to stay by his side regardless of his actions. This couple is officially more toxic yet dedicated than Harley Quinn and Joker. Kyosuke uses a psychic skill and senses that something inside the soul of Akira has broken forever. Laddie continues her journey toward the demon realm to confront her father. Crow keeps his word and prepares to guide the group through the dangerous lands of the demons. Akira makes a final vow to kill anyone who stands in his way. He will do whatever it takes to protect Amelia and return to his mother and sister. And you are still doing nothing with life. Now, move your loser ass because that is it for today. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button and drop your thoughts in the comments. Until next time.